G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content. As always, it is my pleasure and privilege to entertain you as we talk about the greatest game in the world, rugby. And well, last week was a big week. Duane, the Ruck, Vermeulen, has announced his retirement. One of the greatest Springbok of all time, I guess. 2 times Rugby World Cup winner, 11 years for the Springboks, 76 test caps, and he has been instrumental in the Springboks winning the Rugby World Cup in 2023. This year, at the age of 37, he played all 3 elimination matches and was just absolutely crucial in bringing that stability, in bringing that that veteran presence to the team, and guiding the team from a leadership perspective to win the Rugby World Cup for the second time back to back for the Springboks and for Rassie Erasmus. So yeah, thank you, Duane, for the good memories, for all the good years you've been giving us, and gonna miss you, mate. Gonna miss you. And also, sticking with the Springboks, Rassie Erasmus has released a new book. And it's time for me to shill for his book. Okay, look, Rassie, all I'm asking is give me the job for the traffic lights, okay? I worked in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. I know all about traffic lights, okay? Just give me a chance, man. Give me a chance. And yes, so Rassie has released the book where he talked about what his biggest achievements is in life, and a lot of people might think that winning Rugby World Cup twice would be something they'd be very, very proud of for pretty much everybody in the world. Rassie has come out and said that he is it's the EPD pathway that he's most proud of. I think the EPD pathway is something that they basically give players that can't really get into the Currie Cup an opportunity to basically, for whatever reason, to kind of like scout them up into the Currie Cup, essentially. Basically giving like disadvantaged people in disadvantaged communities an opportunity to make that step into the professional level. And he noted that Lukamio Arm was one of the players that him and Jackson Inaba found through the EPD pathway, and we know how good he was, especially in 2019 rugby, where he's injured in 2023. Still one of the best centers in the world right now. So yeah, that's Rassie's book, and one of the obviously most controversial things in this book we'll have to talk about. And please don't kill me in the comments. So it's the quota. Rassie Erasmus has been criticized for playing the political game, for naming players to fulfill the quota, so to speak. And one of the criticisms that he received early in his coaching career was at the appointment of Kolisi as a quota selection as the captain, and he has proven everybody wrong. Obviously, Kolisi is once in the lifetime generation, once in a generation athlete, and just one of the best person you can meet in the world. And Rassie Erasmus' selection has absolutely probably one of the most crucial, if not the most crucial, team selection he has made in winning the World Cup twice in a row. Played a crucial role. And as we know that the Springboks is under the law by the South African Sports Ministry, or whatever they call it, to have 50% of the starting players as non-whites, and that is something that Rassie Erasmus has working with over the years, and he's found a way to get through a lot of that over the years. A lot of there was criticism all around about some of his player selections to potentially fill the quota, but it is good to see that Rassie has breached that. I think in the World Cup final, there needs to be 50%, so minimum 7 players out of the starting 15 needs to be non-white. And from memory, I'm pretty sure there was only 6 colored players, non-white players actually, on the field. That was Bungi Bonabi, Kolisi in the forwards, and then we had you had the Damien Delinda, the Cheslin Kobe, and Cody Alensa, and then the greatest Springbok in the history of the Springbok, Damien Willemse, and that's it, right? That's six, 2 forwards and 4 backs. Yeah, 2 wingers, a center, and a fullback. That's it, right? And so that's technical. So Rassie Erasmus has not really followed the rules anymore. So they have he has made essentially whatever he's done has done. He has a lot of people don't like the quota system. Everybody hates that, and I think that Rassie Erasmus has done a great job in terms of basically getting the what do you call it? Getting the you know the you know the what do you call it? The authorities to be more lenient on the rules in terms of keeping the fundings for the Springboks whilst not strictly following those directions. And I think Rassie Erasmus, through his hard work, has earned that right to achieve these things for the South African sport. So yeah, and hopefully that showed his book good enough there. Next up, we've got Tom Curry breaking his silence on the wit cunt incident. The Royal Rugby has come out with the finding that there was insufficient evidence that a racial slur was used by Bungin Bunabi against Tom Curry. And Tom Curry has basically come out and said that, he was still insists that he's sure that the ball was out of play. Ming and Bungi were talking and there's no misunderstanding from my part. I went to the referee straight away. I heard what I heard. That's all I really want to say about it. I won't really be talking about it again. Yeah, I mean, the one question, I think it doesn't matter whether Bongin Bunabi said it to him or not, right? I think one of the questions that are kind of in my mind is that if Bungi wants to say something to potentially bring an advantage to his own team, right? Like, Bungi's not stupid. He wants to, everything the Springboks do, it's something that leads to winning. And one of the things that you might do is, say something to an opposition player to set them off their game. There are so many better players to say to make comments, to try to use verbal attacks to try to set people off the game than Tom Curry. So like, if Joe Marler came out and said that this was levied against him, or Owen Farrell said it, I'm actually, that will make more sense, because those two players can actually be emotionally like kind of manipulated and potentially leads to like an advantage to your team. I just don't see why Bungi would say that to Tom Curry. British Irish Lions was always been very solid in his discipline. Someone who seems like a pretty level-headed guy. I just don't see why. Like, it just makes no sense to me. And and then obviously it's Curry still thinks that he was the victim in this issue. So Michael Lynch has announced that he will not be retiring, despite all the speculations that he's only 35, man. Come on. Of course, he won't be retiring. He's looking at going into the 2027 Rugby World Cup for Japan. And I swear to God, I thought he's 40. But, he's only 35. So he will be 39 going to the Rugby World Cup in 2027. He's aiming to keep himself healthy for another run. Now we're going to go to Australia, and I'm going to get a little bit angry here. And if I start to, swear a lot, be warned, right? So, yeah, Mark Nwanganitawase has been in talks with the Sydney Roosters, the Cocks, the team that I support, okay, my local rugby league team. And he's been talking to the coach, Trent Robinson, and the CEO as well. And apparently the Rugby Australia has no response to one of the biggest stars, if not the biggest upcoming star, at least the biggest upcoming stars, one of the biggest stars already in rugby, and probably one of the most talented players in the back line, and they have nothing to say. No response. They are probably happy that if Nwanganitawase leaves, so they can bring in Joseph Swali'i, the biggest mistake that anybody could ever make in as any business, right? So this guy, Joseph Swali'i, a former Roosters guy, essentially they're gonna do a swap. They're gonna swap Swali'i for Nwanganitawase. So Nwanganitawase is going to the Roosters, who Swali'i is currently playing for. They're just gonna do like a swap, right? And the CEO, Phil Wall, has come out and said that they're not gonna do something like this again. So Swali'i was given $4.8 million for a 3-year deal, starting in 2025. And this is the biggest offer anybody has ever gotten in the history of Australian rugby. And he's 19. He was 19 when he was given the offer, and so he is. He has never played State of Origin. He has never won a rugby league. The rugby league championship, whatever they're called, NRL Premiership. That's the name. He played the Rugby World Cup for Tonga because he can't make an Australia team. He's born in Australia, by the way. I know he's Tongan descendant, but he's born in Australia. Don't tell me that he's passionate about his the roots or whatever. He's born in Australia. He's 100% Australian. He can't make the Aussie team, so he went to play for Tonga. And then his record at the Rugby World Cup, 48% tackle rate, 0 tries scored. And that is somehow computes to the biggest offer ever made by Rugby Australia to have him to come over to play Union for the Waratahs. And and it's going to be a winger. So, and you know what I just realized as well? He's going to be coming in 2025 and play half a season for the Waratahs, right? One of the worst teams in Australia right now. He's going to play half a season and he's going to get thrown to debut at the freaking Lions tour. And he's going to be going up against Duane van der Merwe and Anthony Watson. He's going to get eaten alive. He's going to debut against Anthony Watson at the Lions tour. Okay? I genuinely don't know how this is going to go well for us. Okay? Half a season. And by the way, his previous experience playing rugby union is in high school. So you're basically pulling someone out of high school and giving him, 3 months like with the Waratahs, and then it's going to be playing the Lions tour. Unbelievable. And of course he's going to be playing Lions tour. You think the selection hasn't been done when they make $4.8 fucking million to him? You think he's going to be sitting on the bench getting paid $1.6 million a year? Are you kidding me? He's going to be straight out onto the field and get fucking demolished. Unbelievable. It's just, yeah. It's Rugby Australia. So Phil Wise come out and said, we're not going to do that again. Yeah, bunch of fucking idiots. I mean, I have nothing against this guy, right? He's going to do what it's going to do, but he is the shit stain, the biggest shit stain in Rugby Australia right now. And it's not his fault. It's just the way it is. It's a fucking embarrassment. Everything wrong in Australia is that. And by the way, with all the money they're giving him, he has come out and said that he will be returning to rugby league after the 3 years contract expires. He has apparently told the club, Roosters, he's going back in 2028. So he's just here for the Lions tour and then the Rugby World Cup, home Rugby World Cup, right? Honestly, at this point, Joseph Suaalii, I really, honestly, I'd never wish ill against someone, but honestly, I really wish that you just, get an injury or something and you don't play at all. Because that'll just be, better for everybody. You're a disgrace. You're just gonna go back as well, right? Unbelievable. He's just going back. I'm gonna go back. I'm just here to make some money and take my $4.8 million, pay my taxes, and then go back to play in Sydney Roosters. And on top of that, things got even worse for Rugby Australia. There has been some talks already when the Suaalii was announced. By the way, the Rugby Australia paraded the acquisition of Joseph Suaalii as a massive win, where apparently the media hype that generated was already enough. $4.8 million was already worth $4.8 million, according to Rugby Australia, right? According to the morons at Rugby Australia. And this has opened a massive, rivalry out of a massive can of worms out of Rugby League, as Rugby League is now currently looking to retaliate against this acquisition. And by the way, Eddie Jones as well coming on and saying, we're going to bring in, Nathan Cleary, we're going to offer more people money to come in. Rugby League is saying enough is enough. There's already been talks last year, but there's actual discussion right now in Rugby League that they're gonna raise the salary cap to acquire rugby union players, like a Wallaby or an All Black player. If they wanted to switch, they can be acquired outside of the salary cap. So the I'm pretty sure it's 9 million or something. Maybe it's high. I can't remember. I don't know. I don't even watch Rugby League. I think it's 9 million or something. Salary cap. There's a salary cap. How much they can pay for the players. If you're a rugby union player, the talk currently is that you're outside that salary cap. And then basically, Rugby League will give you money to hire them, to get them in for free, essentially. You get a player for free. Massively helps a team's opportunity at winning the premiership. So there's a lot of talks about how this is going to work. But the speculation currently is that salary cap will only be exempt for like lower underperforming teams. It's not gonna be like the Roosters. They're not gonna be just getting another extra, $2 million extra in addition to the salary cap, the ridiculous roster, right? So they're gonna have some workaround to make sure that it's not like just the top teams getting the talents. They have to be attracted to some of the lower teams to bring up the competition down there. By the way, Peter V'landys, if you don't know who this guy is, the chairman of Rugby League, he is one of the most ruthless business person in the world, right? He is basically the killer whale that eats sharks for breakfast. He is absolutely brutal when it comes to making money. Like the success of Rugby League right now, and the fact that it's absolutely demolishing rugby union has a massive part to Peter V'landys' methods. And some of the stuff that he do, I don't agree with. He heavily like lays into gambling to generate that revenue for Rugby League. Which I don't agree. But when it comes to business, this guy, he's absolutely ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. Peter V'landys. The next up, so yeah, and you wonder, why people like Mark Nawangani-Tawase is leaving, right? You have, I was just gonna show you something. You have, the commentators, Rugby Australian professional commentators can't pronounce his name properly for like multiple years, and it's not like his first time. He's been playing the Wallabies for like 2 years now, still can't pronounce his name properly. So we're just gonna watch this, right? And you can tell me if his name's been pronounced correctly.
Digs it out for Karevi. Out the back is keeper. This is in the running to
Lawasi, yeah. And I mean, like they can't even pronounce, like, your professional commentators can't even pronounce your biggest star's name properly in Rugby Australia, right? And here's how you pronounce it. Let's hear from the man himself.
Nawangani-Tawase.
Now what?
Right? All you have to do, it took me literally 5 seconds to find that on YouTube. And half the commentary can't pronounce his name at all. They call him Marky Mark. And the other half, and then Sean Maloney pronounced his name incorrectly for a whole season. All he had to do is spend 5 seconds looking it up, or maybe just call him and ask him how to pronounce your name. And they can't even be bothered doing that for their biggest stars. I mean, you wonder why he's not leaving for another code, right? Unbelievable. And so Hamish still comes down and say, it wasn't his fault that Eddie Jones was hired and Dave Rennie was sacked. It was the whole board's fault. Yeah. I mean, he and the board needs to go, right? I have a petition, all right here. This will be the link description below. Please sign and help us out. This is, as a rugby community, it doesn't matter where you are from around the world. It's not a Rugby Australia thing. I would like to quote from this guy himself when he says about poaching rugby league players, right? He tells people that rugby union is a global sport, unlike rugby league, right? We're gonna give you the opportunity to play all around the world. That's why you should come over and play rugby union for us. It's a global game, like he said. So even if you're, if you're Irish, if you're whatever, South African, feel free to sign this petition because the health of Australian rugby is crucial to the international game. In the test level, at the Rugby World Cup level, everything is absolutely connected in our community. And please go sign and share it around and just have these people removed from Rugby Australia. Have these people just get out of get them out of our community altogether. So yes, thank you for your help. Waratahs has officially been taken over by Rugby Australia as well. Yeah, the people that runs the Wallabies to the ground is now running the Waratahs. By the way, Waratahs. One of the reason that they have signed this deal because they weren't in absolute financial shits. They were basically going out of business, so they had to be taken over Rugby Australia at some point. Melbourne Rebels, giving more money to them, had decided to splurge on a couple of different things. They have signed a Tanela Tupou, but they also signed a mental psychiatrist to try to fix the choking that's been going on in Melbourne Rebels over the years. Let's see if that pays out for you, right? So Andrew Watterson, it's going to be the mental coach to stop the choking at the Melbourne Rebels. We'll see how that goes. So the Tanela Tupou has been signed. Again, the Melbourne Rebels is where everybody's go to basically have the careers run into the ground and then gets exported overseas, right? So I can't wait for Tupou to get a contract overseas, and then he goes over for a few years and then come back play for Tonga. I can't wait. I'm waiting for this. Is already happening. We know this is what's going to happen. You go to the Rebels, and then you get exported, and then next minute you know you're playing for another country. That's exactly how it goes. So yeah, I'm not surprised if Tupou is going to leave. It's going to play for Tonga in after 2027. But he's our Rebels, and he's saying that there should be a experienced 10 would have helped. By the way, Carter Gordon is the guy that he's criticizing is his teammates at the Rebels. I know. I come out and publicly say that that experience would have helped whilst your teammates. Anyway, there's some new signings to Rugby Australia, blah, blah, blah. The only thing that I'm interested in, obviously there's two. There's not only, there's a couple. One, Halfpenny is signed to the Crusaders, and Reece Patchell has come to Rugby Australia to have, after hearing that Samuel Karevi plays in Japan, has given him confidence to sign to play in Super Rugby. So, yes, Reece Patchell has, is signed in Super Rugby, and, giving the confidence that Samuel Karevi is not going to be here. And the best signing overall is the Western Force, getting Harry Porter, Abacadabra, to be playing the Western Force. He's originally Australian-born. Wait. No, English-born winger, sorry. He's English-born. Wait, what? So he was English-born, he grew up in Australia, and he played in England, and he's returned to play for the Western Force. Harry Porter. So yeah, it'd be great. Great. That's some good times. We've got so much to go through. So Fabien Galthie last week also came out and, had to publicly address the national embarrassment. And the couple of things that out of all the stuff that I talked about, I thought it was quite important. The one thing is he talked about the clinicalness of the execution of the French team. Whilst had more opportunity to score, they scored. The Springboks was able to execute every opportunity into tries, whereas the French was not able to do that in nearly as high efficiency. So it's good to think. One is your execution is not quite good enough in terms of your polish not quite there, and also your defense has questionable issues to allow your opposition to score so easily, given so few opportunities that was presented to them. So that's the kind of thing. And another thing is he had 9 video clips sent to World Rugby to get clarifications on. So the referee was a massive contentious issue out of this match as well. He does have Jerome Garces, a former international referee, as a full-time consultant to the team. So they have a lot of gripe they want to talk to World Rugby about some of these referee decisions that he felt against the French team. And the Scott Robertson, it's reported that the All Blacks will be having a game against the France next year at Stade de France. Mark your calendars. November 16. Is it exactly? It's literally exactly a year from now. It's November 15 today. So it's literally 1 year from tomorrow. November 16, mark the calendars, guys. France versus All Blacks. Stade de France. This will be a massive game for the new All Blacks coach, Scott Robertson. Razor Robertson will be the coach at the time. There's some apparently talk out of New Zealand that World Rugby has privately acknowledged that there was a error when Aaron Smith's try was disallowed. Everybody know what happened. There was try scored, and the TMO said that there was a knock on in the line out, which was 4 phases before the try was scored. The TMO was only allowed to check 2 phases before the knock on. So everybody thought that was illegally operated by the TMO, but the World Rugby has come out and confirmed that there's no acknowledgement, and they completely support the decisions by their referee, whether it's right or wrong. There's also a lot of misunderstanding when Barnes came out and talked about in a podcast with the Deladio that there's speculations that the All Blacks were filing complaints, but the Barnsley basically said that the All Blacks always ask for feedback after the game, so it's not filing for every game. Barnsley has the All Blacks player. They basically ask for clarifications from the referee for every incident, and that's just the way the All Blacks do their business. And it's not that they have actually filed a complaint for the Rugby World Cup final. Some good news from New Zealand. Beauden, go Beauden. He's back. He's potentially be back. He's not back yet. Potentially will be back to play for Super Rugby once again. He's currently signing in Japan for 1 year, Toyota Blitz, and he is looking at potentially return after. So he'll be potentially returning to play in the Rugby Championship this year, because the Japan season finishes basically before Super Rugby starts. And then he's potentially if he basically signs again immediately with the New Zealand Rugby after his season ends, he's allowed to play, be selected at least for the Rugby Championship and for the Bloodscar. Same deal goes to Ardie Savea and Sam Ken. Sam Ken is on sabbatical, so he will be back. But Ardie Savea as well, he's currently signed in Japan with no ongoing contract with New Zealand, where Sam Ken has an ongoing contract with New Zealand. He's given a sabbatical to have some time off. Cody Taylor is going to take some non-playing time off as well as a sabbatical. He's a veteran of the game now. Some more late, report came out from Wales Rugby. There was an independent report that was done by Dame and Rafferty. And the independent report came out and basically determined that Wales Rugby is in a very, very poor condition right now in internal management. That it's quoted as being unforgiving and vindictive environment to work. That sounds horrendous to work. And there are some other issues behind it that there were elements of bullying being discovered and discrimination in Wales Rugby Union, and also the leaders were allowed to were criticized for allowing problems to develop instead of solving the underlying issue. They try to just kind of sweep it under the rug, manage the issue instead. So yeah, a lot of issue out of Wales Rugby. We already know that, but this is official report has been done. There was initially speculations of these issues. I guess not expose that was aired on BBC of racism, sexism, misogyny, homophobia. But this is this is an official report came out that kind of echoes those sentiments. And there's 36 recommendations been given to Wales Rugby Union. Yeah, so Warren Gallen has overcome all these issues to turn Wales around. And again, huge credit to him. Matheus Carreira has been confirmed that it's going to be going to Bayonne. We kind of reported this already last week. And Portugal, the new head coach, Sebastian Bertrand, has resigned after just a couple of weeks, citing that logistic issues. He's currently working with French Ministry of Sport as well, so just having way too much work on his plate, he's not able to commit to Portugal. Jack Crowley has turned down an opportunity to play for La Rochelle under the guise of Ronan O'Gara. And obviously, it's the succession plans. Yes, the succession plans for the king himself, Johnny LaSexton. And Crowley is going to be looking at securing that spot for himself going forward to carry on the dynasty, the Green Army, the Green Dynasty. Marvin Gemini is looking at switching clubs. And let's move on to that. There's some yellow cards and red card incidents. And this has gone long enough, so that's pretty much it. Anton Dupont copped the shot in the head after returning to the game right away. And there was a pretty horrendous red card by Etienne Basham. But yeah, anyway, that's the news this week, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm running out of content, so this weekend will be a release of the official 2023 Rugby World Rankings. And it's going to be... A lot of people are going to be really angry with the results, okay? But, I've just reset everybody's rankings and recalculated everybody. It's going to be top 20 this year because unlike previous years, this year we'll have the Rugby World Cup. So it'll be all the teams in Rugby World Cup ranked from 1 to 20. And tune into that this weekend. And thanks everybody who watched this video. Thanks everybody who donates money, buy me coffee, keeps me alive. And I do appreciate it. So thanks for that as well. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you guys this weekend. Cheers.